Hey, this is my second time recording this because my camera had cut off in the middle of it. Okay, so let me just start this again. Now pay attention. You have like three main grips that people like to use. You have this wine glass grip. Now I don't like this grip because it gets kind of awkward. Like having it like this is something that you mainly see for people that use ball top. Now I don't like that grip. Then you have this grip right here. So this over top grip that people do with like two fingers. Now I think this one is awkward too, and I personally don't like it. The grip that I use this three finger grip where I can anchor it with my pinky. So I have full access to all that other stuff. So I just put my pinky on the thing like this, as you can see. I just hold it there so my hand feels like, you know, free to do what it needs to do. And then that gives me the ability to do all that stuff. Next thing. The way that you do KBD, this is not a good KBD. This is not good. Let me show you the problem with that. So the problem with that KBD is that, and this is important, when you do KBD, you are canceling a backdash. You're canceling a backdash. So why does that matter? That matters because the backdash has a certain amount of distance that it travels. So if I do this is why we start the KBD with back, because back, if we do a whole back input, then it allows the backdash to travel its full distance. Okay, so that's why we got to do this slow. We can't do this. If we do this, we don't go anywhere because the backdash doesn't get any difference. Now you can actually KBD from crouch, and you could KBD for full crouch. A lot of people don't know this, but if I sit here and I hold this for a second and I hit back at the correct time, and it'll still give me the backdash cancel. So if you're canceling this quickly, you're not going to go anywhere. So this is what you want to do instead. You start your KBD string, so you do back for your full distance. You hit down back, you let that back come out. You gotta let the back come out a certain amount of time before you cancel it with the down back to get any actual distance. If you just do this, then you're not gonna go anywhere because the back doesn't have like time to actually go into anything. The key to a good KBD is you have to have consistent spacing on the backdashes, and you have to give it enough time to be able to actually resolve pretty much as far as like creating space. So this is the thing with the KBD. And as you can see, you know, with my hand or whatever, this is just how it works. So that's really that. So next thing, just generally playing on stick. So if I want to do wave block on stick, or if I'm doing wave dash, let me just do an extremely slow wave dash so it's easier to see. So this is a correct wave dash, right? You want to have a consistent rhythm. And let me just do this grip so it's easier to see to understand, even though I don't like it. You want to have a consistent rhythm. When you do wave block or you do dash block, same thing applies as the KBD. So this is me going forward, and then I'm going back with each one of these. And then I can sit there and do electric if I wanted to, because I already went to back. So I basically cleared the input or whatever, right? So you had that. When you're doing wave block, the input is forward, neutral. So as you can see, you get misstep if you on CAS, because that's the way the character works. That's the reason why you can do, well, that's the reason why historically you could do forward, neutral, down, forward, but every Mishima can do that now in T8, which is kind of funny at this point. But the input for wave dash. So for other Mishimas, it's not CAS, because you can on CAS if you actually built like that. Now I'm not built like that personally. But you can do wave dash on COS or just forward, neutral, down, forward, and have that be how you do it consistently. That's very difficult on stick. I wouldn't recommend that. Input for wave dash. So that's me doing wave block. Forward, neutral, down, down, forward. And then for wave block, once you hit that down forward, then you see that I had that you see that I had them that 5 frame or whatever, and then the back comes after that. So see, pay attention to that. So when I hit the down forward, I want to either have neutral or I want to have something else there. So when I hit that down forward, I want to have neutral or something else. And if I do that correctly, then I get stuff like this. Okay? As you can see, now look at the spacing on that. So I hit the back. So if you can wave block, you can do instant while standing. It's really not a problem. If you can do wave block, you can do instant while standing. But you want to give yourself time to actually have that resolved. Now the way that I'm holding the stick, this is me using. Now I'm not like using just my wrist for this. I'm really not using my wrist. I'm actually like using my hand and some of my elbow and my forearm. So if you just use your wrist, that's how people wrist get messed up. I'm using some of my elbow to my forearm, going down to my wrist and then my fingers, so I can actually do this. So that's how you do it on player 1. So my KBD, let me just do this slowly one more time. So I'm sitting here. I'm doing my basic input. So I'm pulling with I'm hitting the back with my thumb. Then I take my index and I push it to down back on this player 1. So there's another thing to mention. Because if you want stick, this is important, because this might not apply to other input methods. So look, if I sit here and I do this, do you see how I get this neutral input? You basically get an automatic neutral input if you want stick. You basically get now see, if I sit here and I do this, when the stick rebounds, I automatically get a neutral input unless I specifically got it to not be there. Now that sounds like it's a dumb thing to mention, but it's actually something that's important because a lot of people don't understand it, because they'll try and do something like this. This doesn't work. You need the neutral input. Regardless of the input method you want, you need that neutral input. So let me go to player 2. So player 2, we had his KBD. Now, the way that you do wave dash is not the way that you do KBD. Like the way that you wave dash on player 1, that's not the way that you KBD on player 2. Player 2, we're going to push. Wait a minute, let me put my finger down some so you can see the top. We're going to push with our palm pretty much, right? So I'm using these 2 fingers right here. See where it makes contact with the stick? We're going to use these 2 fingers in our palm. And we're going to do this. So we're going to push that there. Then we hit down back. Now it's hard. It's harder to have a good wave dash on player. I mean, a good KBD on player 2. But player 2, the wave dash is easier because instead of pushing, you're just pulling. So with this, so instead of doing what we was doing on player 1, but we had to, pretty much push with our hand or whatever. So instead of that, with this, when we KBD, we push, and then when we do this, we pull with 2 fingers. So now there's some people, they might do something like this. Now I can't do it because it feels weird, but there are some Mishima players that instead of doing this with 2 fingers or whatever, because 2 fingers with this, you can engage your entire thumb. Now this is another thing, because a lot of people be getting injured on stick. I've never had no injury on stick, and I've been playing on stick for like 7 years now, right? It's been 7 years. I've never had no injury on stick. I've had my arm get tired, but I've never had like no repetitive strain injury. I've never had none of that other stuff. Simply because you have to actually keep some technique in mind with it, right? So if I sit here and I do this, so as you can see, now let me do this slower. So what we're doing is we're taking our thumb, we're doing this. Then what we're doing is we're taking our index finger, or maybe you want to use your index and your middle finger. We're taking this, we're hitting forward, we're putting this to down forward. So we do neutral. Let me just do this as slow as possible. So we get this, we hit our forward, we get our neutral, and then we just do this. Then for the KBD, let's see. Let's see, a lot of cosplayers, they be focused on that bullshit. Let's see, I'm not like a PGF merchant, but they be focused on stuff like that. That's not what you need to focus on. Let's see, with this, you need to focus on this wave block. That's the most important thing. So, you see this? So look, that's the last thing I'm gonna talk about with this video. But when we do this wave block on this player 2, this is what we doing. We doing the wave dash, but when we get to the down forward, we're pushing it with our entire hand. We're pushing it with our entire palm. So we're sitting here doing this. I'm hitting this on the stick to cancel it. Let's see, it's difficult, but I promise you it's doable. You just want to have to practice. This is not as difficult as leverless. I'm telling you that leverless is too difficult. You can see I have all these extra buttons on my stick. I got a full custom stick, and I wanted to have all the input methods, so I just did that. But let me just run through this one more time. So player 2. Right? This is our motion. If we want to cancel with that, if we're wave dashing, now if we're just sitting here wave dashing regularly, and then we cancel with that. KBD. I'm going very slow. Let me just do this. Now it's gonna feel weird to get used to doing that. Okay, so look. So player 1, we're just gonna push it. So we're gonna steadily push it. Now you might prefer to do something like this. Now see, the reason I do this is because my hands is a little big. So if I do this takes up the entire thing. Versus this, if I put my finger like this and I anchor it, that way, so if I do this, when I pull the stick back, so when I pull the stick back with that, it's way easier for me. But, okay, so KBD, we have this. Then wave dash, we have this. So, as you can see, and let me just do that one time on this side. Let's see. It's easy to mess that up. But there you go. So if this video was helpful to you, I'm happy to hear it. That's going to be all for me for now. Peace.